question is who was this guy Matthew? Because Matthew was the first book of the New Testament. He was a tax collector. So, tell me, who did he collect taxes? Just giant hint. Okay, so here we go. They crucified Jesus.
I knew it! The Romans!
Yes, ma'am.
The Romans!
The Romans. Okay, so I'm gonna have to move this out of the way. I'm gonna trip and fall. Okay, the Romans. Now, the Jews didn't particularly like the Romans. Oh! And they were really mad at these crazy Jews that decided that they were going to work for the Romans and collect taxes. Oh, this was not a good job to have. Being a tax collector for the Romans, that's what Matthew was before he met Jesus. As a Roman, who would have been the king? Starts with a yes. Caesar. Okay, so we've got Julius Caesar, Augustus Caesar, Claudius Caesar. We got all sorts of Caesars, and Caesar was their title, and the Caesars were essentially the kings. When he met Jesus, he suddenly realized Jesus is the true king. He is the King of Kings. He is the Lord of Lords. He is above any Caesar. That's who Jesus was. And he is truly the Messiah. Now, the Messiah is a Jewish term. The Jews were looking for a Savior to come. They were looking for their HaMashiach. They were looking for the whole book of Matthew is from the perspective of Jesus is the true king. Mark was a young companion of Peter. Peter was one of the disciples. He was a young man who had fallen in love with Jesus. He had asked him into his heart. It had transformed him, and he says, I want to live for Jesus. I want to walk for Jesus. I want to do things for Jesus. Young people are go and do. On the move, always going, always doing, always moving around. They don't like to sit still. Oh, I don't want to just sit here and I gotta go and do. Well, when he wrote his book, he was seeing who Jesus was as a man of action. Jesus was a man of action. He wasn't a sit still kind of guy. He was a, come on, follow me, let's go. When he wrote the book of Mark, he was talking about Jesus being a man of action and that Jesus was God's Son. Who was Luke? This was Dr. Luke. He saw Jesus as the Son of Man. He saw Jesus and he said, this is so important that we tell his story. He was very precise. That meant that he liked things orderly. Because he was a physician, he was a doctor, he knew that different things happened in different orders, and it was really important to do that, to understand that. And he said, I'm going to make sure that when I write the book of Luke, that I tell things exactly in the order that they occurred. Then we have John. Now there are two big Johns. Big John. We got two big Johns in the New Testament. Can you tell me who the two different Johns are in the New Testament? The Apostle John, yes. And that is the one that followed Jesus and walked with Jesus, and and that is the John that we're talking about here. He's the one that wrote the fourth gospel. Who is the other John?
John the Baptist.
Jean-Baptiste, as we say in French. Oh, they didn't call him Jean-Baptiste because he wasn't French, he was Jewish. But John the Baptist and the Apostle John. And it gets kind of confusing because in the Gospel of John, we actually read about John the Baptist. This is the one that was really so close to Jesus. He was referred to as the beloved one, or the one whom Jesus loved. And to him, his heart cried out as he told the story of Jesus. His heart cried out that people would understand that Jesus is God. That's the Gospels. The 4 Gospels, that's the ones that we're going to tell the story of, and we're actually going to work off from Luke to help us see the time frame. And remember the chronological Bible? Things happening in a certain sequence? Well, Luke is going to help us keep that in order, and we're going to start with Luke.